I'm Sandy Liao, the state specialist and microbiologist. Happy to be here to talk about the impacts of sod-based rotation system on soil health, especially one of the key indicators of the soil health, the soil carbon. Before I get started, I would like to quickly thank my graduate student Kalie and the team of sod-based rotation, David and Zane's team, to help with the information generation for this topic. By studying sod-based rotation and the conventional rotation system, our major focus is on understanding below-ground biological activities and the roles they play on soil nutritional status as the indicator of the soil health. So-called soil health or soil biological activities or soil nutritional status underlying agricultural system are largely affected by two factors: the different management strategies and the environmental variables. For our sod-based rotation system, compared to the conventional rotation, the major differences is the incorporating of the hay grass, which largely change the plant functional traits for aiding the different plant species, as well as the changes in crop sequencing. And both factors are believed to be the major factors that affect the nutritional inputs from above ground, since different plant functional traits will bring different nutrients from above ground tissue, as well as changes in the below ground root traits, which include the different root systems, like different biomass of the roots, different compound status of the roots due to different plant species, as well as the different microbes associated with roots, since different compounds of the roots gonna bring in and attract different groups of the microbes who are living very close to the roots. And in general, those microbes are largely associated with nutritional status of the roots. For example, the microbial symbionts are the key players that able to help the plant to get the essential nutrients like nitrogen and the phosphorus. So different functional plant gonna have the chance to get and attract different groups of the below ground microbial communities, especially the ones that are really associated with the plant. And those changes of the microbial communities will have the chance to changes the community level of the higher level of the soil biota. For example, different group of the nematodes has favor to feed on different groups of the microbes. And those network systems gonna finally affect the status of the soil nutrients, including carbon. And as a whole system, in the red circles here, we so-called soil indicators or indicators for the soil health have the primary impacts on the productivity of our crops or plant species, as well as affect the ecosystem surfaces, such as soil fertility and the effect of the plant defense systems in response to their plant pathogens. As the nutritional status below grounds are really important as an indicator of the soil health. The next question we would like to ask if different rotation system gonna bring in or preserve different types and the value of the soil nutrients. In the example of the carbon, it seems the answer is yes. For example, compare with the grain-only system, the perennial cropping rotation system was able to increase the carbons up to 20% in the soil, according to the previous studies. For our rotation system, compared with a conventional rotation system, in orange bar here, the soils collected from our sod-based rotation plot has slightly higher of the carbon, nitrogen, and the phosphorus, according to the primary data from our last year's study underlying the long-term sod-based rotation plots. If this is true, the next question will be who are the ones who do the hard job or hard work to preserve those nutrients and keep our soil healthier. To answer those questions, we try to develop a below ground network to incorporate different the microbes and soil biota with different functionalities, and to understanding who are there and who is doing the hard work. Such a network could be much more complicated, but I would want to mention about some of the key components in this network system. For example, as what I mentioned, the rhizosphere microbes, those microbes who are living very close to the root system, are basically being affected in different chemical diversity of the carbons from above ground litters and the root litters, excrudates, and those are all being affected by different functional traits of the plant species. And since those microbes are large, the community of those microbes are largely affected by those functional traits, the different communities gonna further interact differently with the microbes who are living a little bit far away from the roots, and those has different functionalities of the carbon cyclings. And those interactions would be further affect the total microbial activities and the relative abundance of each other. And as what we mentioned, the higher level of the soil biota, such as nematodes, their community can largely relies on what the changes of those communities of the microbes. And the whole system of the interactions in blue box here as a soil indicator, as an output, can largely affect the abilities of those rhizosphere microbes to be able to get the higher value of the nitrogen, phosphates, and other essential nutrients to be feedback and for the plant to update. So we can say that healthier soil means that the soil will be able to recruit good better quality, better categories of the rhizosphere microbes, and also in order to preserve higher value of the carbon as well as other nutritional sources. And finally, we'll be able to help those rhizosphere microbes to feed better of the nutrients and phosphates for our plant root. And the question is that although we know which might be true, the sod-based rotation, given a higher value of those nutritional status and give the higher productivity of our crop, and who are doing those jobs. So for our ongoing study, are towards these goals, understanding who is doing what. And we hope to bring a little bit more information for our next field day presentation. Thanks.